Okay, let's get an overview of all the different fields you can enter when you create a new page. Firstly, whenever you roll over one of these fields, you'll get a bit of a hint that pops up on the window. It tells you a little bit more about that. So if you forget, then you can always get a little bit of a tip. So firstly, you have the title, which is the main title of the page. If you go after that, there's the long title. The Google description field is a summary of the page, and this will appear in a search result for this page. So you want to be careful what you write in here, and ideally, a good meta description, what this is called, is around 160 characters long, summarizes the page, and should convince searchers to click through to your website. The summary of the page, in some pages or some websites, you'll have an intro text that appears before the main content of the page, and this is where you can enter that content here. It's a bit of an introduction into the page. After that, you have the template. This is where you select the visual layout of the page. This will primarily be done automatically. If you create a page from the tree here, underneath another page, it'll be a sub-page, and it'll include that template of the parent. Below that, you have the resource alias. So this is the name of the page that'll appear in the browser. So for example, this page takes the page title, new space page, and turns it into a machine-readable alias. So all lowercase, a dash between the words, that's what appears in your site menu or in your domain. So it'll say yoursite.com.au/new-page. Below that, you have menu title. Now I've added one here. What the menu title is if this page appears in your site's navigation, you can actually customize what you want it to say. In this particular instance, I have changed it from new page to new. For example, if you had a terms and conditions page, but you only wanted it to appear as terms in the menu, you could change it here. Below the menu title, you have two tick boxes here. One is to hide the page from the menu, so if it's in the navigation, you can tick this box and it won't appear there anymore. And the other important tick box is published. If this box is ticked, the page will be visible on the front end of your website. If it is not ticked, it will not be visible to anybody except for people logged in to the control panel here. Under the Settings tab, you have less common fields that you can edit. The first one is your parent resource. This tells you, if this is a subpage, what the parent is. You can also click and select a new parent from here, but I wouldn't recommend it. The easiest way to create a subpage is to create it and then drag it and drop it underneath the parent page, or create it directly from here. Document type goes through a couple of different types of documents, being a document, static resource, symlink, or web link. These are all described in the documentation. We generally don't change any of these fields here. The menu index refers to the order of the pages, and you'll notice it starts from the parent. So we have sample page, and below that, sample subpage has a menu index of 1, and new page has a menu index of 2. The published date tells you when this page was published. I saved this at 12:43 p.m. If I select a published date, that means the page will not be visible until we reach the time selected here. This is useful for things like promotions that don't begin till a certain date, so I can plan ahead when I want this page to be visible. Below that, I can also plan an unpublished date. If I know this promo extends for a week and then ends, I can set that date in here. And then once that date comes and goes, the page will no longer be visible on the front end of the website. There's a few options here that I can tick or untick. The most important would be searchable. If this is unticked, this page will not appear in the sitemap that is read by Google to tell it how many pages are on the site. It's likely the page will still get indexed and read by Google, but it will be harder for it to find. So we want to make sure that this is always ticked. Most of these controls in terms of deleting and making a page a container can be dealt with the interface on the left side here.